I am Rita Sacha presenting Every Student Succeeds Act. This is an act that was signed by President Obama in December 10th, 2015. Its brief history, how did it come into existence? Before it was put into place, President Johnson signed the Elementary and Secondary Education Act in 1965. President Johnson believed in full education opportunity and believed in providing education to everyone, including students who needed more educational support. It provided grants to districts with low-income students, federal grants to textbooks and library books. It provided funds for special education centers and scholarships so that they can acquire everything they needed. It provided federal grants to state education agencies for better education. Why ESSA was put in place? No Child Left Behind was an act that was put in place in 2012. It indicated forward for American students in many aspects, and it showed many students receiving a lot of education, including those that needed educational support regardless of their race, income, or zip code. However, in 2007, it was meant to be revised, but because it had so many demands, it was very hard for schools and educators to reach or to attain its demands. And then after President Obama realizing these challenges, that's when ESSA came into existence, and it was signed in 2010, as I said before. ESSA's goal. Since its goal is to provide a continuous progress in areas of high school graduation, education progress, and improve recognition of gifted and talented students, it has shown high graduation rate and less dropouts in so many different districts. And it has also indicated that many students are now attending colleges than it was before. And you see how effective it is to the education system. What impact has it had on the education system? It has ensured that America's disadvantaged and high-needy students are critically protected and provided with all the needs that they deserve, all services they deserve in order to attain their education. And it also expects all students to be taught in high academic standards to prepare them succeed in colleges and careers as they mature. It ensures also important information is provided to educators, students, families, and communities through annual state assessments, which are normally show students' progress in their academics. It goes ahead to provide support and growth innovations to include evidence-based and place-based interventions developed by local educators. Those were actually very positive impacts, and it has also continued to discourage the use of test results as a criterion for teacher performances. It has provided better communication between schools and parents, and this has brought parents closer to the teachers to see that the students are actually supported effectively at school and also at home. It has gone ahead to promote local innovative methods, as I mentioned before, and then it sustains the same force on accountability. So these are some of the importance of it taking place, and it has shown progress in so many. It has affected the students in a positive way, and also supporting parents who have low income, which wasn't the case before. Although it's been very successful, there's some disadvantages that have been noted, and this has affected the vulnerable students in most cases. When there was a close of almost 50 elementary schools due to their issues involving performance in the city of Chicago, it was observed that African American students had the majority population of about 90% of the districts. And what was more confusing is that about 60% of the affected schools had a high concentration of special needs students. Since its aim is actually to provide services to everyone, but now schools are being closed, that leaves us in suspense. What happens to these students whose schools have been locked or have been closed? And then it goes ahead to affect the parents, especially those who have low income. Again, another challenge that has been noted is it removed the stipulation for adequate yearly progress. It banished one of the important areas of accountability that were used to make sure that there was that were in line with the expectations of no child left behind. Under ESSA, there are no longer expectations to report sufficient yearly progress on the test score from the student's body. You can see how negatively this has affected the education system. And also, there is no attempt to put in place to address the root cause of inequality. Remember, this was the most important challenge that previously people faced. Only people who had money, only those who had connections are the only children who got a chance to have high standard education. But now, since ESSA highlights accountability in the K-12 system by focusing on testing schools and classroom environments, the main challenges that led to inequality are not yet fixed again. When economic challenges are attached directly to the students' performance, then the issues in public schools can only be worked on when there are no possibilities to improve the standards of living in each community. So this is where schools are being affected, and this also needs to be addressed in order to make sure that what was promised in the law is actually put into place to effectively support the parents who are earning low, and then those students, especially who need extra educational support. These are the citations that I used to get the information. And again, I have a Google Doc that explains in detail what I have just shared with you. Thank you for listening to me. I hope this was helpful.